Hello everyone and welcome to what's another Diablo 3 build video. And I know it's been a while since I made last of these kinds of video, but once again I did get some interesting ideas that I wanted to try out, and so far those one that I've been working on has been quite nice and at least works some way, so I thought that it's time to start to make videos about these games again. And some of you might realize that, hey, this game looks a little bit different than the previous videos, and the reason is because I'm now recording from the PC version. And well, two main reasons for that is, one, I did get a little bit lazy for leveling up my Demon Hunter and Monk with the console version, so it was easier to start to make videos also with PC, since here I have max level Demon Hunter and Monk. And other reason is because some of these builds are kind of working that way that it's easier if you have a little bit better control with your skills and with mouse. You can have that one. So, but now let's go to the build itself, and like always, after that we'll go see some gameplay and stuff like that. So the kind of name that I'm using with this build is engineer build, and that just comes from that quite many role-playing games, and especially in the MMO games, there is always this one ranged character that is called somewhere engineer or something like that, and he's always using turrets and grenades and traps and stuff like that. So I thought that it would be interesting to try out same kind of character with Diablo, and so let's go to the talents. First we have Grenade, and with this we are using the cluster grenades rune that makes that when we throw the grenade, it makes little explosions around it, and I would say that this is quite good option for the bigger groups, or if there is more than one enemy, then in those situations I find this quite useful rune. Also, one that I might use could be the grenade catch that throws through more grenades, but personally I like this one. But I would say that also if you're using a bit faster weapon like a one-handed crossbow, or in other ways, I would say that gold grenade could also be quite nice, because it makes gold damage, and it also a little bit chills the enemies, so they're moving a little bit slower. So that is also one quite good option. But personally, at the moment, I'm liking the cluster grenade, and it has been working quite well for me so far. Next we have Impale with the Overpenetration rune, and with this, well, the main reason is just that as an engineer, it would be a nice idea to think that he has some kind of pocket knife, and this is just something that he's throwing around. And overpenetration comes because, once again, when we have a bigger group, then it can hit several targets, and that is the main reasoning for that. But once again, if you want a little bit stun and a little bit keep the enemy a little bit further away, then of course Impact is other one that I've been trying out, and maybe in some situations I've been even using the Impale one. But at the moment the Overpenetration is the one that I'm more keen to it. And next we have the main story with this build, and is the Sentry. And with Sentry we are using the Impaling bolt. And well, in here the reasoning is quite same as the Impale, because if there is a bigger group, it's good that the bolts are going through the enemies, so they hit even more targets, and that way we can clear bigger groups a little bit faster. But also, if you want to, if there's only a single target that you need to kill, then in some cases I have also been using Spitfire turret that is shooting also those homing rockets, and depending example of boss fights, I would say that Spitfire might be a little bit better option for the boss fights, but so far I haven't really seen any negative sides with the Impaling bolt, also with the boss fights, since feels like that quite many bosses are these days using some kind of ads with the fights, and so yeah, I feel like that it's useful if you can shoot through all the ads, and also same way maybe possible get some hits from the boss also. But yeah, but Sentry is the main star with this build, and it's the one that we are using all the time. And but from using that, I'll explain it more when we are going to the gameplay part itself. Next we have the companion, and we are using the spider companion. And well, main reason for this is because the spider gives slow for the enemies, and when we activate it, it also makes you can slow even more enemies, and well, that is the main reason for why we are having the spider. And well, I still think it goes quite well with the team, that our engineer is having some kind of small animal companion that he's running around with. But yeah, but main reason for the spider is that it slows the enemies, and reason for that is coming in the passives. And then we have the spike trap, and in here my personal favorite at the moment is the sticky trap that you can plant in the enemy target, and for me it felt like that this is a little bit more secured damage to the enemy, and also since it explodes, it gives damage to the enemies close to it. And if there's a bigger group, if you throw few of them in the group, then this is also one quite good way to clear the basic enemies. But once again, I would say that with groups, one that I've been using also sometimes is the lightning rod, that when enemy walks into it, it starts to bounce the lightning damage to everyone. But with this, it's just that this doesn't always work the way you want, and the traps that you plant on the ground doesn't give so secured damage that you might want. So that's why personally I like sticky trap. But of course, if you have enough skills to throw these traps that goes to the ground, then yeah, those would be also quite good options. And once again, I think the trap goes quite nicely with the team that we are having with this build. And after trap we have the vengeance, and well, I just think that this is quite good for the bigger groups, or when you're facing those elite or champion packs that are having few of the harder killing enemies. Then with this you can get a little bit more damage, and just because we want to go with him, we are having the personal mortar that is also throwing out launching grenades to random enemies, and well, this is a little bit RNG, but I just thought that this goes with the team most with these other runes. So yeah, and otherwise I just like this skill also, so just wanted to add it here in the build, and just wanted to find some kind of way to make it fit into the team in here. And next let's go to the passive skills, and first we have the Grenadier, and well, this is quite obvious why we're having this, because it gives a little bit buffs for our grenade attacks, and a little bit more damage and a little bit more explosion size, and if there happens that we die, then also drops quite big grenade on the ground, so that's the goes quite nicely with the team. And then we have also Cull the Weak, and here comes to one of the reasons why we are having the spider, since spider slows down the enemies, then with this we can get a little bit more damage to them. And if you feel like that you want to use the example frozen grenades, then it helps also with this, since you throw the grenades, and when you're using the sentries can that way do a little bit more damage to the enemies. So that is the reason why we are having this one. And next we have the custom engineering, and well, this is just giving duration buff for with our spike trap and sentry, and it also increases the maximum number and charges of the sentry by 3, and also we can get a little bit more traps to put on. So, but here it says that the number and charges of the sentry is 3. So far, what I have seen, I can put 5 sentries at the same time, and I haven't found any trait or the stat in my gear that explains that. So yeah, it's mainly just you need to try out that how many sentries you can put at the same time, and since with this our sentry duration is a little bit longer, then it is easier to put a bit more the sentries on the ground. And here it says normally it lasts from 30 seconds, and with the double it, then those last about minutes. And well, with the normal packs it's not really that important, but with the boss fights it's quite nice that those sentries last a little bit longer. And the last passive skill that we are having is the ambush, that we just can make a little bit more damage to the enemies in the beginning of the fight when their health is above 75%. So, but I would say that this is the one passive skill that you can basically trade for anything that you feel that is better for you, or you think that, well, you don't like the ambush one, so basically you can just pick something else if there's something that you feel like is better for here. But yes, that was our build, and next part, like always, is to go watch a little bit gameplay. And previous videos I've been going through the rift, but this time I would also like to show you at least some kind of boss fight, and we are also having bounty with the Skeleton King, so let's go kill the king. And also this is also a fight where you have those ads are coming, so I think it also shows quite well with how the bolt thing is working. And like you can see in here, don't really need to even open the door. The bolts are doing the work for me already, and so basically, okay, I did press the wrong button. Basically, it's just trying to find a group of enemies, and after that you need to think that how many sentries you might need one, because I would say that there is no reason to put all sentries in the same place if there's only some basic enemies, and let's a little bit use the slowing, and let's start to throw a bit knives. And these bigger enemies, I like to use the spike, the trap, just throw it to them, and in that way get a little bit extra damage through. So but the way I'm using the sentries at the moment is that if I find enemies, I try to make quite clear lane of them like this, and so they feels like that more often they start to shoot the same target. But if there are situations like this, I might a little bit okay, I did have one charge in here, but I try to place them the way that they might start to shoot a bit more targets. And example, in this part, I try to place them the way that they also start to make damage to those towers or the pillars. And it looks like that my Templar is doing whatever in there, and so that's okay. And in previous build videos, I haven't really said that. I will a little bit also always mentioned that what I think is maybe the most optimal follower to use with the different builds, and with this one I don't think there is really one right option to have. So at the moment, reason why I'm using the Templar is let's kill these enemies, and I can show you the reasoning. The moment is because I'm trying to make him quite tanky, and at the moment he isn't. I just need to find better gear for him, but I'm making that he taunts the enemies, that everyone is hitting him, and when we are having this immediate skill of the enemies that are hitting the Templar, or the enemies that the Templar is hitting, are getting slowed. So that goes quite nice with the passive skill that we were having in Terra. Let's slow down these guys, and it's always with these champion packs that I quite often want to put maximum number of the turrets so that I can nuke them down quite quickly. And And also always a little bit try to see where is the most of the enemies and throw in the few turrets in there. And also I found that those are quite useful against with these treasure goblins there. And don't run to die there. So hard to lose. I always misclick with the entrance in these situations, but let's see if I can. Yes. When you carefully pick them, it's easier. And that is also one of the reasons that it's a little bit easier in Hero PC version. I felt that if console version I did have Treasure Goblin did die the same kind of place, I would have been quite sure that I would have been jumping through the 2 rooms, because I most of the time had been hitting on the door. And here let's just put the turrets. And one thing that I want to say, that at the moment I'm playing with the Torment 1, and if someone is asking that, so is this just something that works only in the lower difficulty levels, I would say no. I think this is kind of the build that can work the higher difficulty levels, and I have been trying out this in the Torment 2, but for me it felt like that my skill at the moment, or my gear is at the moment at that level that it might be I can give you a little bit faster gameplay if I'm just playing with the a little bit lower difficulty level. And what I'm trying to say that, yeah, I've been trying out this build in the Torment 2 also, and I would say that I didn't have any difficulties. I think I did run the Rift in the Torment 2, and it wasn't really difficult. Felt like that my damage output was a little bit too low to make that run fast enough. So basically that is the one of the reasons I'm just trying around in the Torment 1. I'm still trying to find a little bit better gear, but also reason why I might go quite quickly to the Torment 2 is to find better gear in there. And yeah, well, mainly just playing the Torment 1 difficulty just to show you guys the build in here. And let's see if we did get anything that is interesting. Well, not really anything that gives us damage increase, but and with this build I would say that this isn't really any kind of glass cannon build that I've been made with, especially with the wizard. Quite many of those are some way glass cannons. I would say that this also could be quite good kiting build. If we think about when we have the spider, we can throw the web that slows down the enemies. And if we want to get a little bit more kiting abilities, I would say that if you change the spike trap to caltrops, then we can get a little bit more the slowing down. And if we put the sentries nicely around the caltrops and stuff like that, then you just can run around and sentries are looking down the enemies, and you just throw the caltrops and maybe sometimes a little bit throw down those grenades. And yeah, if you think that with grenades you go with the frost grenades that also gives enemies the shield that also a little bit slow down them, then yeah, I would say that it's going to, this is a little bit more like a kiting around build than anything else. And what did we have? We did have legendary fail. And yes, I can see it. So just showing this just in case if some of you want to see what it was. And golden swords. And some of you might remember that I was using the same legendary with my Crusader in the, I think it was the trash cleaning build, if I remember right. But yeah, so this was my Demon Hunters engineer build, and I hope I did give you guys some kind of ideas that you can use. And like always, I'm not trying to tell you how to play the game, I just want to give you ideas how to get your own funny builds and stuff like that. So yeah, I'll stop rambling now, and I think it's time to wrap up the video. And so like always, like or dislike the video, whatever you feel like after watching this. And if you have comments, please leave them in the comment section below. And if you want to see more videos from me, then I would really appreciate if you subscribe to the channel. And yes, I know at the moment my channel is quite Blizzard game heavy, but what can I say? I really like to play Blizzard's game, but there might be coming some other content in future. But yes, I hope you're having a nice day, and we'll see you in the next time. So see ya.